Hello everybody, welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a little hidden secret I found with this bike. This is the Stark Varg, the new Stark Varg, and you have to you have to try this out. This is insane and super fun when you make these sort of modifications that I've found that makes this bike a little overpowered, and I would not be surprised to see this be like patched or something. It's nuts what you can do with this bike. So stock is what you're seeing right now. This is the bike completely stock and it's nothing special, but it's still pretty fun. But I'll show you a way to make this thing absolutely rip. I don't understand it. I just started fiddling around with it and found something quite nuts. So you come into your garage here, and like I said, it's all default. You can work the tires that you want. I recommend this higher like caliber brake here if you want to say. Go to suspension. Sure, everything's cool. I kept it the same. Here is where the biggest things happen, is in drivetrain and in others. So first things first, standard is cool. MX2 gets a little slower and enduro's a lot more for, I don't know, I haven't tried it, but I'd have to assume it's definitely for enduro. I go to alpha. All right, so click here, engine mapping alpha, head on over to your drivetrain where then you will max this thing out. So you want to go up to 16 here, and then with the rear sprocket, go up as high as you can and see how it says 112 miles an hour. And you want to make sure that that's at 112, doesn't go up, doesn't go down. So that will stay there. And then remember the alpha mapping, it gets pretty nuts. So now you have the bike, and sure, it might take a little bit of a second to wind up first, but once it does, it becomes quite insane. And this is very, very different on motocross versus supercross. But if you look at the controller overlay on my recording, you will realize that I'm barely even using the throttle, because you'll literally lose traction and just spin out, do 360s, whatever. But if you can learn how to tame this, especially on supercross, it's insane. Don't believe me? Let's try a little bit of some supercross here. So we're coming in a little too hot. I haven't ridden this in a little bit. Come up to this berm, and you can just hop into here. Like I said, I haven't done it, so let me perfect it real quick for you guys. Come to the top of this burn. Okay, hang on. Come through the whoops, get up here, very lightly on. Okay, yeah, come to the top of the burn, very light on the.
A few moments later.
Come to the top of the burn, very light on the throttle. There it is. You can go quad. And then you got to time this one pretty well, as I didn't, but it can withstand quite the casings. But what we did to the bike is we basically wound the gears up to be as long as possible, so you don't lose that traction and you get that alpha mapping to put it on the absolute highest. So it has the most power it has, but it takes a while to wind that power up into the actual bike. But once it does, it helps with, like, it just basically balances it out with traction and everything like that, and the way that the game works. You can just absolutely rip though. I mean, this thing can quad on a dime. And one thing that also helps this bike kind of soar through the air, if you want to say or use that sort of terminology, is the fact that it has like no engine braking. So the fact that you can just kind of sail through the air, is we're going to get this, we're going to grease it quite nicely, head to the outside here, stay low on the throttle, and get up over this. So what I'm saying is it basically has no engine brake. So there's nothing that's stopping you either on the lip of the jump or through the air that's kind of slowing the bike down. It just continues with the momentum it had going off the lip, which helps the bike carry so much. But this bike for me is a lot more fun on supercross, especially with it being this souped up. But one thing you do have to be careful about is, like I mentioned, the no engine braking. You can't just step on it and then like jump into a corner or something like that's gonna happen. You're gonna have to take it a little slower, take more time on it, and then you really think out what you're doing. I'll go back over to some motocross here, but you guys just try it out for yourselves. It's super fun, and you can basically just do whatever it is you want. This is like quote unquote the fastest bike and everything like that. It's so fast, so fun, and once you learn to control it, take some time on it, it gets super fun. As you can see, like, you can just zip through a whole track. So as many complaints as everybody has on the sound mod, I can say you could soup this bike up to be one of the most fun things in this game. I know everybody's saying that the factory bikes are where it's at right now and everything like that, but this bike is super fun and a whole new learning process, if you will, because there's definitely a learning curve in getting used to this sort of power and this sort of bike. But I especially recommend this bike for supercross. It's just way too good not to. Oh my god. I'll show you guys another track that I've tested the Stark Varg on as well and had so much fun. So same thing over here. I already had this set up on. Basically, you just go to the alpha mapping and just put the drivetrain max, and there you go. This is round 4 of the 2023 Supercross series. It's Houston, where it is located and what it's called. build. So I mean, this track is so much fun on the Starkvard. I mean, this whole track is basically designed for it, as you can do this to the little roller here. Like, you can kind of pop your front wheel over that. You guys have been watching Chase Sexton and Jet Lawrence in real life, you know what I'm talking about. You can get this massive jump. I'm only gonna go triple here though, because the quad just seemed a little too far-fetched at that point. But the whoops on this bike are a whole nother story, super difficult. And something like this with these bull turns, you can kind of coast through them, and then once you get up to a jump, you can literally just let it eat. It gets a lot easier on a track like this compared to a tighter track like the Goat Farm Supercross tracks. And on motocross, like I said, this bike's definitely not best suited for motocross, but with enough time getting used to it and enough messing around with the suspension, everything like that, I'm sure you can make it a very fun supercross or motocross bike as well. But before then, before anything comes out about this freaking bike, before I run over the front wheel there, we're gonna just kind of scrub, go triple, and I'm still gonna send the quad because it's just got that much power. Brake before you head into the bull corner, kind of like raise my front wheel before I come in here. It's so difficult to grease the whoops. I want to try this triple right here without too much thought about it. No, even if there was like a Starkvard series on Supercross, that would be so funny, and you can have all the friends and all the boys and everything like that on Starkvards and just start ripping massive quads. You guys, the biggest cojones, if you guys know what that means. You guys know what I'm talking about. But let me know, do you guys think that this needs to be patched, or is this cheating or something like that? Because it's got to be something. It still has its disadvantages. This bike can absolutely fly, and you don't even need that much like skill or talent or whatever it is to pilot something like this. This is nuts. Like, I don't understand how you could just wind this bike all the way up and then rip really. But I'm sure we'll get the on off here finally. There we go. And then over scrub that. But yeah, you could basically just it's just so hard to put into words how fun and how different this thing is from anything we've really seen in the past, where you can put this thing on the highest mapping and you think, well, this is out of control, there's no way this is even like worth it, you can't ride on this much, and then you just mess with the drivetrain, put it to the max, and there you go, you have yourselves a magic bike. But this bike definitely still comes with the cons. Yeah, we're not really exploiting those right now, but the cons definitely are still there, and I can see why like they wouldn't patch this. It's just super fun, and like I mentioned, there is still a downside to doing, you know, stuff on this bike like that, as we'll look to get the best run through the whoops there so far. Get up and over this little OJ. Oh my god, I was gonna try to hop into a race here, but it doesn't allow the MXE OEMs, which is annoying. But yeah, that'll be all for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, go ahead and leave a like and go down and subscribe. Go watch any of the past content. I guarantee you will enjoy it. Can we still, yeah, look at that, we can still get that triple, of course. And I'll try this one and send it off for you guys. But here we go, triple in, easy. So yeah, that'll be all for me. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.